They cornered my daughter in public and tried to shame her for not accepting her father's affair babies as siblings. That's when I knew it was time to end this once and for all. My name is Anna. I'm a 46-year-old mother of two beautiful, strong daughters, 17 and 15. And this story is about the day I got revenge in the most poetic way possible, at church. A year ago, my ex-husband died in an accident. He left behind a mess, trauma, betrayal, and two children from an affair that we had no idea existed until our daughters themselves discovered the truth. The girl he cheated with died too, leaving behind two orphaned boys, and suddenly his parents wanted my daughters to treat those boys like their own blood. They even tried to gain custody of my girls, and when that failed, they tried to move in with us. My daughters were shattered, not just by the betrayal, but by how everyone expected them to forgive and forget, like nothing ever happened, especially their ex-grandparents, who were painting themselves as saints while vilifying my daughters as heartless monsters. One Saturday, we went to the local farmer's market for my youngest daughter's birthday. I gave her some money and let her roam freely to buy whatever she wanted: chocolate, snacks, joy. But after an hour, I got a call. She was sobbing. A group of elderly women, church ladies, had cornered her, screaming about how she was unchristian for turning her back on her poor baby brothers and refusing to see her loving grandparents. My daughter was terrified, and I was furious. I ran over, shoved myself between them and my child, and told my eldest to take her sister and the stuff they bought to the car. Then I turned to those women and unleashed hell. Some of them I knew from my ex-in-law's church. They hurled insults, saying I was a failed Christian wife who refused to obey her in-laws. They said my ex would have never died if I hadn't begun the divorce. One even tried to grab my arm to pray the sin out of me. It got loud. Market security asked us all to leave. They followed me back to my car like vultures circling prey. That night, when my daughters went to bed, I logged into Facebook, and what I found broke me. My ex-mother-in-law had written a massive sob story in the church group, calling me cruel, blaming me for abandoning two orphaned babies, saying I took everything from them and left them homeless and heartbroken. She even claimed the affair partner was our surrogate, and I rejected the boys because they were male. I was disgusted, but I didn't argue. I planned. You see, my divorce wasn't finalized before my ex passed, which meant all the evidence of his affair and their lies was still mine to use. The next morning, I went to a print shop. I printed every photo of his affair, them kissing in our home, messages, texts, receipts, confessions from his parents, and worst of all, the vile texts their parents sent my daughters after his death. In one, they blamed my girls for his death. In another, they called them bastards for exposing the truth. This wasn't just toxic, it was spiritual abuse. I organized everything into binders, cute little booklets that looked like church hymnals. The cover said, "A love story," bracket, ex's name and affair partner's name. Inside, the first image was them making out in our living room. I walked into their church that Sunday, calm, polite, carrying the binders. There's a desk in the back for
Inside
forgotten
the
hymn books.
first image
I
was
added
them
mine to the
making
pile
out in our
and
living
left.
room.
By the
I
evening,
walked into their
all hell
church that
broke loose.
Sunday.
The church Facebook
Calm,
group was in
polite, carrying
flames.
the
My ex
binders.
was called a
There's a
defiler.
desk in the
The affair
back for
partner was called things
forgotten
I
hymn
can't even
books.
repeat.
I
The church
added
that
mine
once
to the
blamed
pile
me for a broken
and
marriage
left.
now
By the
turned on my
evening, all
ex-in-laws.
hell broke
But
loose.
here's the
The
twist.
church
They still said
Facebook group
I
was in
had fallen
flames.
from grace,
My
but
ex
my
was
actions
called a
were
defiler.
understandable in my
The
grief.
affair
Apparently,
partner
I
was
might
called
return to the
things I
light one day,
can't even
but my
repeat.
cheating ex,
The
he was
church that
beyond
once
saving.
blamed me
My
for a
daughters received
broken
apology
marriage
letters from members
now
of the
turned on
congregation
my
and an
ex-in-laws.
invitation to
But
return
here's the
or
twist.
support.
They
As for
still
my
said I
ex-in-laws,
had fallen from
shamed,
grace,
humiliated,
but
they
my
quit the church
actions were
altogether.
understandable in
My
my
ex-mother-in-law
grief.
posted on her wall how
Apparently, I
no
might
one respects
return
the
to the
elderly
light one
anymore,
day,
how her
but
son would
my
care for her.
cheating ex,
With what money?
he
I don't
was
know.
beyond
I was the
saving.
breadwinner. My
My
daughters got
daughters
his life
received
insurance,
apology
not them.
letters from members of the
Justice didn't come
congregation.
from a courtroom. It came from truth and a little bit of revenge. They used faith to shame my daughters. I used facts to expose their lies. And I'd do it again, every single time.